lost the first half. I'm not going to lie.
Oh, could be Wayne!
I think I got my swagger back. Oh!
I love it, baby!
Them orange britches. Something about them orange britches.
Tennessee wins! By Tennessee, Jawan Jennings. Jennings makes the catch.
Ball hit high in the air into right field. Going back is Sayre. And Tennessee can say hello, win column. A grand slam in the bottom of the ninth. You can't draw it up any better.
We just won a basketball game, and we're very happy right now.
McGrath for the win. He got it. If you don't like college football and you watch this one, I'm not sure what your problem is.
Reddit did to do, and welcome into More Important Issues. It is Sunday, November 17th. Thank you all for hopping in so we can talk about the most important and the only sports story that happened this weekend. 58-year-old Mike Tyson did not die in the ring on Friday night. Hopefully your internet was, well, not really your internet, your Netflix was not buffering. Mine didn't have a problem. I stayed up for the whole thing. That's the story, and I can't wait to talk about it for an hour and a half tonight. That's all there is.
I'm about to call BS. There's no way you stayed up and watched that.
No, I did.
Did you really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, there's nothing else to do this weekend, so I thought I might as well. I hate how much. It's not even like Jake Paul's marketing techniques, because I didn't watch any of the pre-stuff. I actually started because someone mentioned that the lead-up documentary was pretty good, so I started it this afternoon, and I was like, kind of boring already, turned it off. Didn't watch any of the pre-fight stuff, didn't really care. And then it's Friday night, it's free on Netflix, so I thought, why not? And so effectively, the Jake Paul marketing worked on me in the end. And I knew what the fight was going to be. I don't know if I'm going to go like full on conspiracy rigged, but like Mike Tyson knew he was getting paid. Everyone knew he's 58 years old. No 58-year-old is going to step into a boxing ring and just magically be his young self.
Right.
And I knew what the fight was going to be.
Wasn't his last fight like 20 years ago? He was just like dying basically in the ring. Like he could just not get through the fight.
I honestly don't know.
That was 20 years ago, so I can't imagine. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, then like everyone's like, I mean, did you see his training videos? I'm like, yeah, they look good, but they're like 30 seconds long, and they also don't have the same intensity and they don't same adrenaline as a fight. The poor guy. It was sad watching him walk to the ring. I was like, he looks older than I've ever seen him look.
Yeah.
It was sad. I felt very bad for him.
Yeah. The only part I got to see was his cheeks out, so that was enough for me. I was cool after that. So
yeah, great. Some good shots from Friday night.
Speaking of cheeks, not a great showing last night.
I guess if you want to get right into it, we can. Yeah, it was. You had one really solid quarter. Second quarter, you kind of you got it taken to you, but you did bow up in the end. So I mean, the first half was okay. First quarter was good. Great. I would wager. The second half just. Let me preface this statement when I talk about the second half. As a whole, not a bad, like you played tough football. Like this is as the Missouri loss on the road last year, the South Carolina loss in 2022. This isn't the same loss. Like I'm not putting them in the same category. But you really failed in the second half as a team. Top to bottom, your offense got nothing going, 0 points. Don't think we got it past their 36-yard line, the Georgia 36. Defense just really couldn't couldn't get any. I mean, Carson Beck probably didn't feel like he played a football game last night. Zero pressure on him all night.
Yeah, he could have played again today. They could have played a doubleheader and he would have been fine.
Right. So yeah, the second half you kind of really just did nothing for yourself. But I don't put it in the same losses as those two, like I mentioned. Obviously, a very, very disappointing result, and I have, I guess, a lot I could say about it, but I don't really know how to. There's no way to put a bow on that game other than disappointing, especially the way you started.
Yeah, I just want, like, when you have so much to play in front of you, like you have so much to play for, and you just don't play a good football game, that hurts. It sucks. And it just, I don't want to say it's a pattern, but like there is, I mean, Georgia last night, that was a big game for them, do or die. And they played one of the best football games they've played all year long.
Yeah, we didn't play like we thought it was an elimination game. So maybe the team knows something we don't know, because the talk around this week was this is probably an elimination game for Tennessee. Well, from the outside looking in, only the fans thought that. That was not a thought of the rest of the squad. So maybe it's not, Landon. Maybe that's the good news, is that this was not, in fact, an elimination game. Now, that does leave you probably the least fun elimination game of all time, going on the road Thanksgiving weekend to Vanderbilt. That one, Vanderbilt doesn't make me nervous outside of everything around it.
Yeah.
Also, if you can't tackle the quarterback, yeah, you're going to lose that game.
Right. And I think everything about this game is battered ball syndrome. You have, an elimination game where you only have one loss and everybody else is kind of in with two losses, but this is considered an elimination game. You have to go on the road in Athens for a night game. I mean, who else gets that? Tennessee does, of course. And then you have a play where it looks like they fumble it for 30 yards. They mark it as an incomplete pass. Then the next play, I think it's the next play, they fumble it. Again, it seemed like 30 yards, and they recover. So it just seems like a game where Tennessee they kind of had all the momentum. And then once some calls go against you and stuff like that, it just kind of was an avalanche at that point.
Yes, and I would like to note that I said right before the fumble that was turned over, I said, ball game. That was it. Momentum's gone. You're never going to get back in Athens in night. Like, it's just not going to happen. The way we had played, I didn't see us grabbing it and taking it ourselves. Fumble happens, and I'm like, idiot, known idiot. Overturned. I'm sad again. Fumble on the next play. Great play. I can't remember who punched it out. Great play. Known idiot. Yay. Let's go.
Will Brooks.
Okay. That checks out. And then they recovered it. And I was like, I told you, I'm always right. Never doubt me. Yeah, it was
a bad day for the season's over. When, we did get the okay that Nico's going to start.
That's another thing I want to say. And I know, like, box score, I'm not like, oh, that's Nico's best game by far. I really, though, when you're going, look around the room, who's your quarterback, who's your guy, man, that team's got to believe in Nico. Dude comes out after concussion, and he doesn't back down. Like, his first real, impact of the game was running for a first down on 3rd and 7, putting his shoulder down into a defender and making a play. And I know if I was in that room, I'd be riding with him. I got to think that's kind of the thought process around it. Again, I thought he played a good game. Thought he missed on at least one important throw. He also had some receivers not help him at times. Thought he played good. I was very pleased, but also just the moxie he had to come back from that, I was impressed by. And I think a lot of his teammates probably, like I said, have his back.
Yeah.
Even more, than they did.
And in that situation too, that I think that was the one thing they kept saying about Tennessee that was good. Kirk and Chris, appreciate y'all. I mean, y'all really showed out for that one. But they did keep saying that this is a tough place to play, and for Nico to, still be a young quarterback, taking kind of a beating this year, and not backing down from a challenge was. I think if you're going to take any positive, that's probably your biggest positive coming out of this game.
Yeah, absolutely.
Now it would be really nice if he didn't get touched in a game.
That'd be too easy.
Yeah,
be too simple.
And going from the one positive, I mean, the biggest disappointment is Tennessee's defensive line in this one.
Sure, but I mean, how defensive line? Yeah, no doubt. But I mean, also, I'm looking at Tim Banks and I'm saying, you think they're just going to start magically getting home with 4 or 5 guys? Did we ever send more than 5 guys? And you think it's just going to magically happen? And I get these guys have been all year, but can we take some pressure off the secondary, the linebackers? I talked about it. I can't remember if it was here on Sunday or if it was Wednesday on the Chase Thomas podcast. I thought our linebackers looked better in pass coverage against Mississippi State, but they're just not good in pass coverage. Are we ever going to try to take pressure off them and say, hey, if this ball's going to get out fast, it's going to have to get out real fast? Not letting the tight end get 10 yards upfield right between the safety and linebacker, making it impossible on our linebackers. No, just no pressure, no thought of it. And then it's not all Tim Banks' fault. We also have guys that can't. Why we can't figure out who and what our responsibilities are when people go in motion is beyond me. I'm not saying I could do it, but I'm also not on a FCC football roster. I'm not a starter on we got outcoached by Mike Bobo. That is concerning. And some of that play that really kind of sealed the game, that little tight end late action on the play action, that was good stuff. But also, it's frustrating there. That's a great play. It's a great play design. But it's frustrating because it happened all night long.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if anybody on Tennessee's defense knows where Oscar Delp or Ben Yurzik is. I mean, those guys absolutely destroyed Tennessee in the middle of the field. And then, like you mentioned, kind of ended the game for you. But
Dylan Bell, if he hadn't left the game, he would have had 60 rushing yards and 60 receiving yards.
Yeah, I mean, I can't believe Tennessee hasn't really been tested like that over the middle of the field. Because Georgia, I don't know where they saw it in tape, but they're like, oh yeah, that's where we're going. And another thing, it's not like Georgia's like, oh yeah, we have tight ends too that we can utilize. They've used tight ends against Tennessee for years.
I feel like you mentioned how a lot of people haven't been able to utilize the field. It's because oftentimes that over the field stuff takes some amount of time to develop. It's not 5 seconds. But when there's pressure on the quarterback, he doesn't have time to just wait for that middle of the field to open. He doesn't have time to wait for a receiver to get behind Jeremiah Thielander or Arion Carter. He had plenty of time to wait. Plenty of time. And yeah, just not a good showing. And it was very frustrating to see virtually zero what looked like on the field. 0 adjustments. Really on either side of the ball. And what sucks is I feel like Tennessee started off, I mean, that first half or that first drive out of the second half, Tennessee moves the football. Someone said it. Yeah, they essentially moved the football at will until they get to the 36 and then get stifled.
Yeah.
And can't go anywhere else. Someone said it too. Josh, if you're going to go for it on 4th and 6, just run it on 3rd and 6. Also, I'm not a fan of punting there if you can pin them deep. Your field goal kicker already hit a 50-yarder. And I know a lot of people would have been upset with it taking a timeout there. If you want to try to get them jump off sides and get them in 4th and 1, then take the timeout. Take the timeout and kick the field goal. Take the points. You needed those points. That's a 51-yarder. It's a long field goal, but you need the points. That's not at a time to play field position there when you've got to get something going. You're looking for any kind of play to swing the momentum. Anything. And
you
couldn't do it.
Pin them deep is cool, but you weren't stopping anybody. At that point, it was 17-17. You weren't doing a good job over the middle. Georgia was moving the football. You weren't getting stops. You weren't getting turnovers. You weren't getting pressure. That is a time where you need to score points, and you chose not to.
And I will say, at the time, I also didn't realize we were at the 36. I didn't realize how much in field goal range you were. And I was like, I'm okay with punting it here because so far this season, your defense has been your strong suit. Lean on them till you can't. And I mean, that after they do what they did, really, I mean, they ended up scoring on that drive. Then you can't lean on them anymore, which you didn't know that when you punted it. But I don't know. I also think no, I don't know if that's 2020 or that's hindsight. So I'm not gonna dog the decision making for that. But yeah, I think there was some questionable coaching decisions in this game. Not necessarily even play by play, just overall kind of how you went about it. And I did not feel like that was Josh Heupel's best game as a coach. I also don't. I mean, people look at any loss to make them fireable offenses. I don't think last night was a fireable offense. So make of that what you will. I guess just let me say my piece about this. Everybody wants to go, everyone's very excited about a Josh Heupel win over Nick Saban on his way out, and then a new coach over Alabama. Well, he's also beat Florida twice at home, something no coach has done since Philip Fulmer. And I get it, they're bad Florida teams, but I can name plenty of bad Florida teams since 2010 that we have failed to beat. That's not a new thing. The only new part of it is we're winning them. Sure, Nick Saban was on his way out, still made the college football playoff that year. Or he made it the following year. Made it his last year. He still made a college football playoff after that. He's won more games than any head coach since Philip Fulmer in his first 3 years. 4 years now, I guess. It's an insane thought to be like, oh, we should be looking elsewhere. And if this game had happened in the same vein as a South Carolina or a Missouri or an Arkansas, and Arkansas was a bad loss as far as those go, but they also weren't in the same way that those happen. You didn't just get torched. But if those had happened the same way, I'm probably saying that's a huge flaw. Last night there were flaws. They weren't the same flaws. We don't see the same mistakes being repeated. So if you want them out. I don't care. Do your thing. You're going to yell and be louder than everybody else and obnoxious. But I do think you're stupid.
Yeah. I understand last night was super frustrating because it looked like a Tennessee defense from 2 years ago. Can't stop a nosebleed, can't get pressure, can't get turnovers, didn't tackle well, whatever. Just a number of things that were just – and like you said, I think the biggest thing was it was like that all night. There was not any adjustments, not hey, let's try to send people here just to see if we can get them uncomfortable. I think he was pressured 3 times in the game is what Pro Football Focus said, and he was 1 for 3 on those. So, when you got pressured, he wasn't as accurate, obviously. But, a guy who has been struggling all year long, of course he figures it out against Tennessee.
That's just Tennessee.
That was going to happen. Yeah. That was going to – the worst thing about this game is when Georgia lost to Ole Miss. We knew exactly what was going to happen. We heard, Carson Beck just saying it. What if we try to get a see what Gunnar Stockton has or whoever. And of course, Carson Beck looks like a Heisman candidate. 347 yards, 2 touchdowns, 32 rushing yards, and a touchdown on the ground as well. Played his best game of the year by a large margin. And I do think Tennessee's defensive line has played really good this year. And I think they've masked some not so good play from safeties and linebackers back there. And there's been times that those guys have played well, but I think losing Keenan Peely it showed up as a huge loss last night. And I just think there's a lack of playmaking ability at the safety positions at times. Like Will Brooks, love what Will Brooks has done this season, but him with playing man coverage one-on-one, that's not something I want to see probably ever.
Which also, why are we in those scenarios when we're rushing 4 and 5? What what are we doing? What are we even trying to defend in that scenario? That's what I don't understand. I look at we've got I don't know if it was Reed Gibson or I don't know if it was Jamal McCoy who was out there with him when they make that motion. But we have 2 guys in one-on-one scenarios, and we're rushing 4. Maybe there were 5 there. What is happening?
Yeah.
The defense was very frustrating last night, and you're right that the defense has masked some things, but also we knew over the middle was sketchy all year. That's not a surprise. They played well on the outside, but over the middle, it's always been a little unwavering and unnerving, not unwavering, unnerving. And Georgia just exploited that. Because, if you look, especially early on in that game, Tennessee had their guys in one-on-one coverage, which, again, I ask, when you're in one-on-one coverage on the outside with no safety help, usually that means you're sending pressure. So why are we even doing that?
Yeah.
And Jamal McCoy and Ricky Gibson rose to the occasion. And then they were like, all right, well, we'll go inside to our tight ends. And they just bludgeoned us.
Well, yeah, that's what I said on that first drive. They took a shot. They took 2 shots and ran the ball up the middle, I think. And I was like, what a dumb first drive. First of all, you're testing Tennessee's biggest strengths in their corners and their defensive front running right up the middle. I was like, yeah, that was really dumb of them. And then they're like, okay, we can make an adjustment.
Yeah.
And let's go inside to the tight end, see if they can stop that. And especially in that first half, Tennessee had zero clue where Oscar Delp was on the field at all times.
Yeah, can't find the big white guy on a football field. That's troublesome.
Number 4. It's not like he's hiding with an 86 number like Dylan Bell can. He's number 4.
Yeah.
I can't imagine how many yards Brock Bowers would have had in that game.
No. I don't know if there would have been. They had a ton of receivers that had a ton of touches. I don't know if anyone else would have touched football.
Yeah, they probably wouldn't have had to. Yeah, just a tough pill to swallow there on defense. I just think there's kind of a lack of. I think Jeremiah Taylor and Aaron Carter are good. They're young. But behind them, I think it is very slim pickings. So that needs to be fixed. I think safety is another one that sometimes I don't understand the rotation.
No, there are times where I'm thinking, Will Brooks, where is he?
Yeah.
It's been your dude all year. Why is he?
Where's Jacoby Thomas at times?
Right. He'd have been nice in that game. I would have taken one targeting call, take the 15 yards.
Yeah.
That's another thing that was frustrating about the defense. Last week, man, I was so impressed with just the ability to fly around and felt like they were hitting people hard. They were playing sideline to sideline. They just felt like there was no sense of urgency, especially in the second half where that's really where I felt like we lost the games. I feel like the defense was a step behind the whole time. And that's honestly probably was more impressive about Jalen McMurray there on that one drive, is that he actually seemed like he had playing with some urgency, and no one else really felt like it.
Mm-hmm.
And it seemed like a totally, and I know Mississippi State and Georgia are teams are light years apart, but I mean, urgency is urgency. Like you fly around, you fly around. It shouldn't matter who's on the field. And it just felt like that we had there was a lot of like swagger and belief maybe last week, and this week was a lot of nervousness and unsureness that led to what occurred last night. That's troublesome.
Yeah.
I don't care who you are. Like you're a playoff team. Believe you can beat anybody. Go out there with that belief. Fly around.
Yeah, I mean that's the biggest part of this. You thought your defense would travel, and hopefully your offense could score enough points, and kind of neither one of those happened.
Yeah, the 2 second quarter touchdown drives were really, really kind of put the spotlight on that defense to say, are they going to bow up this game? I'm not saying they can't the next 2 weeks, but it was pretty clear probably what was going to happen last night.
Also, I don't know why we go 3 linebacker sets sometimes.
And blitz, yeah, I'm with you.
Yeah. If we're just going to stay back in coverage, why are we not having a DB out there?
Did we send Boo Carter one time last night, Landon?
I doubt it.
I'm not asking for it every down, but the man's better at getting pressure on the quarterback than he is in coverage. And that's not saying he's bad in coverage. If Carson Beck's going to scramble, make him scramble. And we didn't. We just he kind of scrambled when he wanted to.
Yeah. Or just to buy even more time than you already had. But the Boo Carter thing, I mean, this coaching staff has no clue what to do with somebody as athletic as Boo Carter. We've seen that because it took him, 9 games for him to be the punt returner. So I think they have no clue what to do with him at this point.
I mean, maybe. He also scores a touchdown last night if he just decides he's faster than the freaking punter.
Or if somebody can block a punter. I mean, we had him.
No, that's Boo Carter's fault. Run past him, Landon. Run past him. You don't have to block the punter when Boo Carter's returning the football. Everyone else got blocked. Run past the punter.
That should be the easiest person to block, and there was somebody blocking.
Well, Landon, there's 10 blockers and 11 tacklers.
How are you on?
You got asked to beat one guy. One guy. Run past him.
He's also chasing down some guys on defense because of poor coverage, probably on his end and others as well. So I understand him being a little wore out.
Well, then maybe he shouldn't be returning punts if he's too tired to run past the punter.
Yeah, whoever was blocking him, that was one of the worst. How do you let a punter slip your block?
I don't know. Don't hold. That's okay with me. You have Boo Carter. He should run past the punter.
He swim moved one of our defenders. That is crazy.
Didn't hold him. You have Boo Carter. He's the fastest man on the football field. Run past him.
It was a good return.
It was a great return. It's also a touchdown if he just runs past him instead of pulls up and does whatever and kind of just runs right into him.
Yeah, I think he got kind of caught up in between if he was going to try to juke or not. But yeah, I'm with you. Just turn on the jets.
Just run past him. That's it. It's that simple. He had a touch. Did you watch it? You posted that video on Twitter of the Mississippi State punt. If he just runs past that guy, it's a touchdown.
Yeah.
Instead of trying to juke him. I think he needs to quit being so athletic and just be fast.
But he's the reason why you got, those 3 points right there, because, you're not getting that with anybody else back there. And when Tennessee got on that side of the field, I don't know what it just seemed like, and I don't know if it was just, going to offense a little bit. I don't know if it was like just scripted plays, but that first drive, I was like, wow. I mean,
Yeah.
that's how it's done. You know,
Well,
there
yeah,
were
and
some
we've had
different
that since
wrinkles in there. There was picking it up on third downs, third and shorts. You stayed in front of the chains. No terrible penalties to put you back.
almost Miles Hitzman tried to, and Josh Heupel got a timeout in time.
Yeah. But I mean, we did a fullback dive over the pile. I mean, stuff that we haven't seen before. And then it just
That needs to be noted. That needs to be noted, by the way. If Josh Heupel doesn't call timeout, a lot of people get frustrated with his timeout calls. I'm not saying they're perfect. If he doesn't call timeout in the first drive of the game, it is 3rd and 6 instead of 3rd and 1 from the 1 yard line.
What did they do?
Miles Kitzelman just went.
Oh,
He jumped way early.
gotcha. But yeah, that was something that I was like, man, that was super impressive. And then after that, it just everything is so difficult with this offense. Like the explosive plays, there's just nothing there. There's no run after the catch. There's no
Well, we
you
got to
know,
jump to catch him, everything for some reason.
yeah, I don't know why we have to jump every single time for a pass. I mean, the wide receivers, this has been kind of 2 years in a row where the wide receivers have been very underwhelming. You know, there's draw. I mean, that draw by Dante Thornton was, oh my God. I mean, that makes me want to throw up just thinking about it again.
Yeah.
The one time we have somebody butt naked and we drop a pass. And we talked about Nico playing good. I mean, he has to fit it in so many tight windows because there's just nobody that can get any separation. And there's no like drag routes or, everything like, and I don't know if it's just we don't think we have time to do it, so we can't make plays develop, but everything just feels so difficult in the passing game. Now, we got it done at times, but it's a constant thing where you just can't buy a big play. And so, I mean, that's kind of on your wide receivers. There's no Jalen Hyatt in this offense. It's just, I don't know if I mean, some of it has to be play calling, I would think, because you're not just, there are people open at times, but and I don't know if that's just Georgia taking that away and, we can play man coverage and it not, we can get pressure with just 4 guys. I don't know what it is, but it just seems like it's for 2 years now. It's been difficult to find those plays where guys are open and making big runs after the catch.
Yeah. The lack of wide receivers making plays is fairly alarming. Pretty not good for the Jalen Hyatt was only good because of this offense crowd, because no other wide receiver has been even close to replicating what he did.
Yeah. Maybe Cedric a little bit that first year, but even
Sure, but he wasn't even close to as naked open as
Jalen.
Jalen.
No,
Hyatt's
as Jalen. No, but I mean, he's probably been the next best thing because you're not seeing that at all. Squirrel White he leaves his feet every time. And he's supposed to be one of the fastest players on the team. Catch it in stride and run. Now, there was one where he had to jump and kind of spin, and
that
was a really
just
good
a
catch.
late. Yeah, that was a late pass. Yeah,
but I mean that one on the sideline that should have been a PI, and I know we're going to talk about officiating here in a second, but stop leaving your feet.
Yeah.
Number one, you're making it more difficult to drag your feet on the sideline. And then number two, like when you leave your feet, you're not going anywhere after that. I don't know. And then you end up dropping footballs because it's hitting the ground because you leave your feet.
Dante Thornton jumping there just makes no sense. 0 sense.
Yeah.
I'm not saying it's why he dropped the football, but it doesn't look good when you jump for no reason and then drop the football.
Yeah, that's such a bad
It's infuriating.
I mean, is Miles Kitzelman our best receiver?
He was last night.
And that's another thing. He gets 3 touches on that first drive. He gets 2 the rest of the game.
If he got 3 on the first drive, he got the run, but then one reception after that. Yeah, it was it's infuriating. Also feel like you stopped going to Brew McCoy, the guy who was getting you. You talk about yards after catch, like he goes and earns you first downs, and then like that's your bailout guy. That's your guy you got to go to when things are tight, and you don't go to him.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and Chris Brazel, I mean, I don't know where he's at.
Just stop throwing it to him.
I mean, that has been a bust. And sorry to kind of harp on. I mean, it's been a bust. Like that is. We thought he was going to be something, and even during fall camp, we're like, oh yeah, he's a dude. And it just has not worked out at all.
Right.
And Dylan Sampson continues to carry this entire offense. He should win the Heisman based on like what he's done in this offense.
And that, his 19 touches, there were times that he wasn't in the football game that were pretty frustrating.
But I will say this. Yes, I agree with you. But they put Peyton Lewis in that drive where he scores that touchdown. He does not score that touchdown if Peyton Lewis isn't taking some of those reps.
Probably not. But also, and I'll say this, I felt like it was similar to the Oklahoma game where Deshaun Bishop got going and then Dylan Sampson got going. It felt like Peyton Lewis getting a few, like 2-3 runs, hard earned runs, getting some yards, get going, allowed Dylan Sampson to get going. So I'm not saying take runs away from Peyton Lewis. It just, there were times in the football game where you look and you're like, are we going to run it here? It's 3rd and 7, whatever it may be. And you're like, I don't know if I want to run it. It's not Dylan Sampson in the ball game.
Yeah. I did think Peyton Lewis played good in this football game.
He played well.
That catch that he had, that's a really long throw for him to catch on the run like that and to turn upfield and get some yards. That was
he
impressive.
earned a big first down at one point too. Had to run through some tacklers.
Mm-hmm.
I thought he played well. I'm not dogging Peyton Lewis by any means.
Now Dylan Sampson, I think it was on Tennessee's first drive. It got them to the 1 where we run an outside run, cuts back. Looks like he's going outside, cuts back inside, and then gets tackled at like the 1. I mean, that's
was
turning nothing into something.
That play was blown up by Georgia, and he not only keeps it from getting blown up, also almost scores a touchdown.
Yeah, I think he's the second player all season to rush for over 100 yards on Georgia. Only running back to do it.
Yeah.
So,
well, Monty, I don't know if Georgia shut him down. They didn't stop it. They didn't only give the football to him 19 times.
Yeah, 22 if you're counting catches too. So.
Sure. I'm talking runs. He's touched the ball 30 times, almost 30 times, 29, I think, in the Kentucky game over the last 3 games. 30 times a game, excuse me. The Miles Kitselman dive over the line of scrimmage into the end zone was pretty sick. That was fun.
Yeah, I thought just like Georgia, I guess, in 2023, that first touchdown, I'm like, yep, winning it.
And just like that, they pull me right.
Yeah.
I've
been wrong a time or two for sure. I don't know. It's just frustrating, and all that. I mean, the officiating sucks. Is it the only reason why you lost? No. But Georgia doesn't score at least 1 touchdown if it isn't for some of those calls going against you.
I made a vow because if you want to go to my Twitter account at Caleb Mitchell with 4 L's, that we spelled them around here. I did all my complaining last night. Because I think Tennessee did a lot. I don't think Tennessee played well enough to win this game. General Nealon would probably agree. Third maxim. If at first the game of the breaks go against you, don't let up, put on more steam. Tennessee failed to put on more steam. This is not an officiating complaint. This is a general, just like football, how it is managed. If I can catch a football and move to tuck it, I have control of said football. We need to establish what a catch is. People who play the game of football need to, not people who watch it and try to decide rules, people who play the game of football. If I can take the ball from here to here, I have control of said football. The football doesn't magically get there. If you want to establish control. If you want to make some arbitrary 2 steps, which happened at times, arbitrary time limit that the ball has to be in someone's hands, then say that. But to have control of the football, that, if I bring my hands, if I start bringing it here, that's control. Like that, if I can go to that motion, that is control.
Yeah. Yeah. Super. Was there 2 of those?
Christian Johnson, change your profile picture before you come and talk in here. You can come back in 2 weeks. Shut the hell up. No one wants to hear from you.
He says Heupel isn't recruiting the caliber of players he needs to run this offense.
You go worry about your quarterback suing the NCAA to come back an extra year. Stop. Shut up. Go take your khaki pants looking logo somewhere else. Don't be salty. This isn't about losing to Georgia. I just hate Vanderbilt. Like, don't pretend this is. Don't come in and piggyback a Georgia loss. Go. You're being salty. Why are you in here? What? I don't listen to a single podcast of any other team. I'm not a loser.
Yeah. What were we talking about? Yeah, officiating.
I did. Yeah, you can say your piece. I've said mine. I wanted to mention, like I said, that wasn't necessarily a complaint about last night. That's because we see that in every game, trying to determine what a catch is and what a catch isn't.
Yeah, and I think the biggest part for me, there's missed calls probably on both sides, but it's the 12-man on the field penalty. That makes 0 sense. And we can review that?
That has always been reviewable, yes.
Which is crazy, but whatever. What on the review, like, and maybe the screen was wrong on the TV, but it was like call on the field, incomplete pass.
No one knew what they were reviewing, correct?
Yes.
Yeah. Kirk was like, surely they're not reviewing if this was caught for an interception. It clearly was not.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's just a crap call because it's never called like that. Why is the official not over the ball? Like, we're trying to go fast all the time, but we have an official over the ball where we can't snap it. But this guy is just off, twiddling his thumbs and just lets him snap it. And then it's a penalty on us for you not doing your job.
Well, there's now a new rule, apparently. Hadn't been a rule. You've seen it. You've seen that loophole exposed many times. But the rumor is there's a rule now. The defense gets 3 seconds to sub. So,
yeah.
Hadn't seen that one.
Ever. But, yeah. That's super annoying. There's a phantom face mask. And then the next play, there is a punch thrown by a Georgia player that is not called. It's just stuff like that. I'm like, what are we even doing here? Why did, if this was going to happen, if it was a predetermined loss for Tennessee, why did we even get on the bus? I don't know. It just seemed like Tennessee had all the momentum, and then the flags and missed calls started happening, and it kind of was a key part in the momentum shifting the other way. And again, there's other factors that Tennessee did not only lose that football game from the officiating, but I don't understand how it continues to be just horrible. And then we have Kirk and Chris Fowler going nuts. That what a play by Malachi Starks, getting there early to break up a pass on Squirrel White. I mean, we're watching it in real time. We're watching the replay, and there's still, cheering. Oh, man, what a play that was. And it's an obvious PI. I don't know. There's just stuff like that I just can't fathom. I mean, what did they have? One holding? Every time our quarterback gets out of the pocket, it's a holding call. And if Dane Davis, if he's got him right here, that is not a hold. If he's got him in the chest, that is not a hold. Oh, God. But yeah, Carson Beck can run wherever he wants to. And, I mean, James Pierce got tripped. They kicked their leg out and tripped James Pierce on a play. Wasn't called. And apparently, I don't know if you saw the replay of Oscar Dell having a catch on the sideline where he beats Will Brooks one-on-one. He's bobbling out of bounds. What even looked at?
No, I didn't. I didn't see that one.
Yeah. Well, I mean, there wasn't a replay, so of course. And then you had the kick out of bounds, which it didn't amount to anything, but that's a penalty. And it goes right over the official's head. How is that? I don't know. There's just so many missed calls that
I honestly can't tell if that one was out of bounds or not. I don't know. That's not one I've got me riled up because I can't tell. I have no idea where that ball's at. I hate that camera angle. I can't see it.
Well, we didn't look at it. So, I mean, there was no replay after it, so it doesn't matter.
I don't know if that's reviewable, but
well, yeah, I'm just talking about a replay.
Oh yeah,
would be nice. Yeah, just sucks. Everything about that game was just after the first quarter. I mean, my wife was talking to one of her friends today, and she's like, "Yeah, I fell asleep at halftime." I was like, "Man, I wish I would have."
Yep, it would have saved me some pain.
Yeah,
would have been mad in the morning, but I haven't watched any football today. I haven't rewatched this game. Probably never will. Didn't watch any NFL. I stayed sportless today for good reason.
Fair. And you know what really sucks about all this is Georgia scores that late touchdown to go up 14, and it looks like a worse loss than it actually was.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
Whereas Texas gets dominated, but I think they score a late touchdown to make it 30-15. Tennessee gives up a late touchdown, and it's 14 points instead of 7.
Right.
So definitely stinks. I mean, is there? My question to you is there stuff that obviously there's stuff to fix. What is the most fixable thing do you think that Tennessee has to do?
I don't know what's fixable 10 games in. I mean, I got to think the defensive play calling, the decision making as a whole, whether you're on the field or in the booth, is fixable because it didn't look that bad all season. That's not the best offense you played all season. That'll get you beat against Vanderbilt.
Yeah.
There you go, Christian. Hope that made you happy.
There is
pretty weird to come in here and just get off to other teams being sad. It's criminal behavior. I'm calling TBI.
Yeah. I mean, one thing that I just want to see, and it's kind of been a reoccurrence, so I don't know if it's fixable at this point, but the jumping off sides and the false start penalties are,
yeah, they're bad.
I mean, they made me want to go slam my head in my car door.
Yep.
Because I mean, there was another 4th and 6 where I think Josh Heupel was going to go for it, and then we have a false start. I mean, the only thing that you can't do in that situation is false start, and somehow we do it. And then we like to line up offsides, which oh my God. Is that, I mean, do we practice that? It doesn't like we practice getting pressure throughout the week, but it looks like we practice how to line up offsides.
Yeah, I don't know how we do it week after week. It's pretty.
We're consistent as hell. I'm frustrated.
Somewhere we are.
I'm frustrated. I need another football game. Let's play a doubleheader and let's get this taste out of our mouth.
I just have a feeling next Saturday is just we're gonna lose. It's just not gonna fully rinse out what happened this week. Like, not even get close. I shouldn't even say fully. I don't think it's gonna get close.
Yeah.
Hopefully I'm wrong. Hopefully it's a feel better, get right game, but just feels like one of those years where we're not going to be kind of happy either way. So.
I mean, it's just.
And it's that stupid grown man named Scotty coming to town to coach. And he's going to be jumping around on the sidelines. It's going to be a chippy game because that's how his teams play. And it's going to piss me off. And yeah.
Waldron, is that who it is?
Scotty Waldron. I don't know. Yeah. Scotty. His name is a grown man. He calls himself Scotty. If you're a grown man, call yourself a name like that, or your initials like it's your real name, just go to hell. Joey, you've got plenty of years. I think Scotty Scheffler was born on Scotty. That's different. He's also been to jail, so he's cool. I think he can do that.
Well, you have to be the best if you're Scotty, right?
I also feel like a golfer and a coach, like there's different rules, especially like a felon golfer.
But Scottie Pippen.
He just has a childlike sense to him. I think it's okay. Just quit naming Scotties and let me have this one.
Deal.
Yeah, this probably puts us out of the playoff, Monty. I mean, obviously things can happen and it can go the right way. I also think it's just a mess. I don't think it's as simple as plus minus here. Ole Miss has the worst loss, but they probably have the better win with the trouncing of Georgia. You beat Alabama. They have a loss to Vanderbilt. They also have a win over Georgia. That LSU win's looking worse and worse, thankfully. That was nice. I mean, Georgia has a blowout loss to Ole Miss, but they have the win over you head-to-head. I mean, it's just a mess. Like, it's the worst case scenario. Like, Tennessee didn't take care of it. Like, they didn't leave themselves in the driver's seat. And that's the problem.
Well, another thing is Tennessee lost. They're losing late in the season. Like that's a big thing to this. Is like when the college football playoff rankings first come out, Georgia Alabama already had 2 losses, so they can keep going up.
Right.
And then I think Georgia already had. Well, Georgia had 1 loss. Ole Miss already had 2 losses. So, yeah, I mean, it stinks because, yeah, like right now you're on the outside looking in, need some help. Who knows what happens in the Big Ten? You know, if Ohio State goes in there and they blow out Indiana, is Indiana still a team that they're going to put in front of Tennessee, who had a
Yeah, we kind of got to root against Curtis Signetti this week, which hurts.
Yeah.
Hurts the soul.
Also, what about if Texas A&M beats Texas? Is
Yeah.
Texas out? Because Andy Staples thinks that's what's going to happen. He put Tennessee in, had Texas out because they lose to A&M, and
we'll
I
never
think if
forget,
A&M,
Kurt. We'll never forget. Take this one for the team, Kurt.
I
Take
think
this one for the team.
I think if A&M beats Texas, they would go to the SEC championship, correct?
Yes.
If they lose that, I think they have 3 losses. So I just have a hard time thinking Texas A&M gets in unless they go and win the SEC championship. And yes, Trey, I'm sorry. Love you, dude, but we do have to cheer for cheer
We just
and
want
we want Florida to win. We want Ole Miss to lose. We don't want Florida to win. We want Ole Miss to lose.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, I mean, there are things that can happen. I do think, I don't know what we'll see when the college football playoff comes out, but the AP poll has Tennessee just right behind Ole Miss. So what if Ole Miss, say they play a tight game with Florida and they barely win? Does Tennessee jump them at all? If Tennessee goes,
because that is in the swamp.
Well, what if Tennessee goes to Vanderbilt and beats the brakes off them?
That'd be 2 weeks away, though, but that'd be the final college football playoff. Well, no, it wouldn't because you still have championship week. But
yeah,
I mean, maybe. But I'd be pretty shocked if they would jump them with a win. And we don't know what's going to happen on Tuesday. Don't know if we want to see what's going to happen on Tuesday, but
we didn't see Utah getting or BYU getting beat like that either. So
BYU's only way in now should be a Big 12 championship. So that's good. Not good for Tennessee as they may be in the top 12, but the ACC is also on the outside looking in. Yeah, Monty, the committee said they wouldn't punish conference championship loser, but I think there's a scenario where one of the SEC conference contenders is not yet in the top 12.
Yeah.
Now, there is a chance that that's the case.
Because they lost an out-of-conference game, which was that the A&M? Or
A&M
that was the Notre Dame. Yeah.
Yeah. Which is crazy that the AP poll has Texas A&M at 15 and Notre Dame at 6. They lost by 7. Notre Dame's lost to NIU. It's crazy. So you're going to punish A&M for losing to Notre Dame who lost to a bad team, but you're not going to punish Notre Dame for losing to a bad team? That's crazy behavior.
Well, Notre Dame has Army and they have USC at USC, so that could be another.
They're not going to lose to USC. They have a better chance of losing to Army than they do to USC.
They probably do, but it is something they could lose.
Sure. Oregon almost lost this week.
Yeah.
I mean, barely escaped.
I thought they were going to because it had no effect on Tennessee getting mattered. So
yeah. Yeah, that's the way it would have worked out.
It's kind of like the BYU is like, oh, I mean, cool, but like there's still a Big 12 team getting in. So
right. I also have some really good news for you. Using the transitive property effect, Butch Jones is now just 2 wins away from beating Alabama after this week. He beat Georgia State. That should disqualify him from the playoff immediately.
Yeah. That's the thing is, like, are we looking at losses more or wins more? Like, is there a
Wins.
we're looking at wins more?
Clearly.
But I think there's like, what's a good win? Because Texas keeps getting like all this love, and I mean they don't have a good win.
It's definitely okay. I guess it's like I think Texas is getting the benefit of being a big name team with one loss instead of two.
Sure.
Similar to Penn State
and Alabama.
Well, and I think you're spot on about Alabama. They lost both their games before the college football playoff ranking started.
Yeah. And they beat Georgia, and then they beat the crap out of LSU. But
yeah,
LSU
sucks. Turns out LSU, we knew all
Yeah,
along.
not a good team.
Tell me if you've heard this before. Brian Kelly's a fraud.
Yeah. Also, Tennessee's margin is what, 20? Not even 20.
Right, but Monty, what I'm saying is, like, if A&M goes in at number 13 or 14, goes into the championship game, playing in the championship game wouldn't boost them into the playoff, especially if they lost. That's not necessarily punishing them, but it's not rewarding them for playing in that game either. They would only get rewarded for a win. They might not get punished for a loss, but they wouldn't get rewarded for a loss either. That's all I mean. You could still be on the outside looking in going into a game. Similar to like BYU could be ranked higher than Colorado going in at 14 or wherever they're going to be at in the college football playoff. They're at AP at 14. Just because they play in the conference championship game doesn't boost them. They may remain at 14 when it's all said and done. They just wouldn't necessarily drop in the final college football playoff. That's all I mean.
Yeah, I think Tennessee, like, when the college football, it's going to be like they're going to be the first team out this week.
Probably.
And then see what happens, because, like, they were competitive in Athens, which Kirk, I mean, everybody praises Kirk in college football, but he did say that was a tough place to play. I think even Kirby Smart said it was a tough place to play.
He said he challenges anybody to come to Athens and play.
Yeah.
And he said he didn't go quite as far as BYU in 2020. Anybody, anytime, any place, anywhere. But he said anytime here in Athens at night, we'll play.
Except if you're Florida, they will never play there.
Yeah, yes, correct. The rankings aren't locked before the conference championship week. They're just saying if you play in that game, you wouldn't fall out of the playoffs if you're in. Like, you can only be rewarded for a loss or rewarded for a win. Excuse me. You cannot be punished for a loss if you're in the playoff. I do want to call bullcrap. If we see someone get blown out one year, may not be this year, someone will fall out eventually.
Or what if their starting quarterback gets hurt? We've seen that before too.
It's about getting the best teams in, right, Landon?
Yeah,
that's their job.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, you can only go up, is what they're saying. I will see it when I believe it, or believe it when I see it. But that is what they're saying. But
and it'll take one time, and then there will be zero conference like no team is going to want to play in their conference championship.
Right.
It doesn't mean anything.
The SEC will boycott it if that happens ever. Like, they will never play the conference championship game again.
I think it's eventually going to kind of be like the SEC basketball tournament. Because, like, what is there to really play for at that point?
Yeah, and then they have to do it because of the money. So
yeah.
It would be funny if Texas A&M did get shafted by that like they did a few years ago with Buzz Williams. That'd be funny. If they play really good against the number one team, fall like 3 points short, and then don't get into the playoff, even if they're outside looking in at that point, it's like, maybe they are one of the top 12 teams, and then don't get in. That'd be funny.
Here is the thing, though. I do think Tennessee is a top 12 team.
Yeah, no, I mean top 12. Yeah, it's just you get auto bids in the mix, and
It does suck.
now you decide how are you a playoff team. There's a difference between a top 12 team and a playoff team, unfortunately, because of auto bids.
Yeah, you're definitely not getting a home playoff game, which sucks. But
yeah, probably good for my health. But yeah. It does suck. I've gotten sick going to every Tennessee game this year, so.
And that's another thing. I'm like, dude, we don't play good on the road.
Nope.
We don't.
Maybe we'll get a noon game.
Hopefully. I mean, hopefully we at least beat Vanderbilt.
Yeah. You going to that game?
I don't know.
What if we're not in the college football playoff that week? Are you going to go?
I feel like it's not even worth it to go at that point. I'm
Yeah,
kind
but
of
then we're
done.
probably not gonna lose at that point.
I do kind of want to get that bad taste out of my mouth the last time I was there.
Just be warned, it's not a tall stadium. You won't die jumping off of it if we do lose. Like there's no way to really get rid of it. So I looked around.
I'd have to go to a bar on Broadway, or I could just walk the streets and maybe get hit by a bar stool. Who knows?
No, I think Morgan Wallen's touring that night. You're out of luck.
Dang it. Yeah, it's unfortunate. All right, let's talk about this real quick. Since we're talking about college football, who do you think is the best team in the country right now? It doesn't have to be number one. Like, who do you think is like the best team?
I mean, Oregon keeps winning, so for like now, it's like it might be Oregon, but like they obviously haven't played many people outside of Ohio State. They beat Boise State barely. I don't think there's like a clear cut number one right now, honestly. It's not Texas or Penn State. They're not anywhere close. I think it could be an SEC team, but I don't know which one it would be at this point.
Yeah.
If Alabama will keep running the football with Jalen Milroe, maybe Alabama. I don't know why they ever threw the football with him in the first place. People thought I was crazy for being like, why do you not run it against Vanderbilt? You would have won the football game. Now all they do is run the football and look at them.
Yeah.
Ball knower. Also dumbest person on the planet.
We did have a question here.
Well, who's your number one team?
Who's my number one team? I mean, if Georgia plays like they did last night, it's probably Georgia.
Right.
But yeah, the way Alabama looked against LSU, it could be them. The way Ole Miss looked at when they played Georgia, it could be them.
Right.
The way we played NC State, it could be us. I don't know.
Don't forget, we didn't play a good first quarter against NC State.
Yeah.
Or first two drives, whatever it was.
I mean, I do think it probably is. I mean, it's a Big Ten or SEC school, but
Could be South Carolina.
no. This question does include South Carolina.
South Carolina might be the best team in November. I don't know why you just scoffed at that one. I said it on. Me and Chase talked about it when you were out Tuesday, Landon. Like, if we had to play South Carolina this year, I would have made sure it was in October or September. I don't want Shane Beamer in November. I don't know if he's just a big turkey guy or what, but dude's got it in November.
Yeah, I mean, they did almost lose to Old Dominion.
Yeah, in September. My point.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, November. I mean, he's
Mr. November.
Mr. November, yeah, I guess.
He's far from Mr. September, October, but he's Mr. November. He's pretty much Derek Jeter.
That defensive line always gets pressure.
Well, they did get the brakes blown off of them by Ole Miss. So in October. My point.
They almost lost to Old Dominion. Who did they
They shouldn't have lost to LSU, to be fair. That was in October or September.
Who were their losses?
LSU, Ole Miss, and Alabama.
Oh yeah, the Alabama game was close.
Old Dominion might have even been August because weren't they? Was that a Saturday game or was that a Friday game? Why do I feel like it was like a game?
Was that their first game?
Yeah, it was August 31st. It was Saturday.
Okay.
It was their first game. Yeah, he can't get it done in August, September, October, but
They don't almost lose to a bad Missouri team.
no, yeah, but they won.
They did win.
I would have loved to almost lose last night and not. You do have that clip of Brian Kelly saying October's for pretenders, November's for contenders. And since the start of November, they've really just sucked. So that's a tough look for a guy.
I mean,
he kind of put that on himself. Like they went undefeated in October and then they're 0-4 in November. It's like, well, he said it, not me.
Yeah, I mean, thank goodness that Billy Napier is an absolute moron and was playing Graham Mertz instead of DJ Lagway.
Sure. We had to play DJ Lagway too. We had to play both.
But not for a full game. So I'm glad that happened.
Right, but I think that's even worse for Tennessee to play a backup quarterback.
We have seen that happen, yes. This question here is, why does it seem like it's so much easier for young quarterbacks like Lenore Sellers and DJ Lagway than it is for Tennessee and Nico?
Yeah, I don't know, man. Good question.
It's a great question. I wish I had the answer. But it does. It does look a lot easier for plays to open up, explosive plays to happen. Do I think either one of those are like necessarily better than Nico? No, but like they score points. They're creative. I don't know. The lack of creativity is something that is just baffling to me. Like Georgia's last touchdown. Like, why can't we do stuff like that?
Or their first touchdown. I think it was their first touchdown, that little waggle play.
Yeah. I don't know. Stuff like that is just odd to me.
Yep. I don't make sense of it. I don't know. I don't try to make sense of it. Did Travis Hunter lock up the Heisman this week? It looks like he did.
Is it not going to be Genty? You think it's going to be Travis Hunter?
I think Travis Hunter is now leading the pack in all the betting odds.
Oh, is he? Okay.
I think so. He had a pretty stellar performance this week.
Was he the leading scorer?
I don't know.
Or leading, like, I didn't think he was a stat leader. Like,
he wasn't, but he also had punt return for 21 yards. He had 55 yards receiving that one incredible catch. And then 3 tackles. I mean, he's playing every snap of football he can. I don't know. I don't care. Heisman's a fraudulent award anyways.
Yeah, it's dumb. If they leave Tennessee out of the college football playoff, I'm done with the college football playoff too. That's dumb.
Texas did almost lose to Arkansas. That would have been a lot of fun.
I'm glad I've calmed down a little bit because last night I was ready to like burn the SEC office to the ground. Let's see what he had.
Travis Hunter?
Yeah, he had 5 catches.
I just gave you his stats.
Oh, did you? Sorry.
Yeah. What are we doing?
I was trying to. I wasn't paying attention. I was trying to look for him. Did he have a pick?
No.
He did have a pick.
Oh, sorry. Okay. I ran over that one. He had 3 tackles. He had 1 punt return for 21 yards. He had a rush for 5 yards that looked like Dylan Sampson's. I think that was a touchdown, wasn't it? Yeah, it was.
He had a rush for a touchdown?
Pretty sure.
No.
No?
Oh, he did. Yeah, he did. You're right.
Okay.
You're right. I don't know. I mean, it is crazy that
If you're going to give it to Charles Woodson for playing like 6 snaps of wide receiver, you kind of just have to, like, by default, give it to Travis Hunter.
right. Or you're admitting that Charles Woodson shouldn't have won it,
Correct.
which I'm cool with too. Oh well. It sucks being a Tennessee fan.
Yeah.
Hey, basketball. You want to get into that? There was some good news today.
Sure. Can I do a trivia that we did last night after or before the game? Because we saw a Sports Illustrated cover.
Yeah.
Do you know what volunteer? I'll go ahead and give you quarterback. Is on the cover of Sports Illustrated. Let me pull the date for you because that's how I got it. Was the date. Let's do this. Here we go. October 7th, 1985, on the cover of Sports Illustrated, was a Tennessee quarterback.
Is it Tony Robinson?
It was Tony Robinson. There you go.
Mm.
Do you know who finished out that season for the Vols after Tony Robinson went down?
Was it Heath?
Too early.
Too early.
You are on the right track. You are I don't know how else to say that without saying the answer. It was a white guy, I guess is the right way to say that.
I don't know.
It was Daryl Dickey in the 1985 Sugar Vols.
I was gonna say, but it didn't sound right in my mind. I don't know why. I was like, I think I'm gonna mess up his name because I was like Daryl, Doug, somebody.
There is a Doug Dickey and associated with
Jared, yeah.
associated with Tennessee.
Okay.
But yeah, that was he was on the cover of Sports Illustrated after Tennessee beat Bo Jackson and Auburn.
Heck yeah.
I believe it. Yeah. Was that after that game? I thought it was about an Auburn game. Let me make sure. Yeah, it was. Okay.
Tennessee.
Yeah.
Number 11 in the country, 4-0 on the season so far. They took it to the Govs in Clarksville, Tennessee, Austin Peay. I mean, it's kind of just a take care of business. Tennessee shot 63.8% from the field. Hard to lose games when you're shooting that well, especially with Tennessee's defense. Igor.
Dog.
I mean, he's averaging, 21 in the last 2 games? I think he had 20 – he had 23 today. I think he had 18 before that, so around 21.5 points. So, yeah, playing really well. 9 rebounds.
Yeah, I'm not going to complain about
filling up the stat sheet. He's a lot more athletic than I thought he was. I thought he was going to be more of like a Kevin Love kind of.
Okay. I feel like his highlight tape made him look pretty athletic. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't know.
Oh, Urosh just did too.
No,
we got to be careful with that.
No, he just showed him shooting threes. He didn't look athletic. Don't. But also, people thought we would have had a better year with Urosh last year. So,
yeah.
Those same people want Josh Heupel fired, but that's beyond the point.
Yeah. It wasn't the best game for Chaz Lanier, but did have 4 steals. Yeah, and I think it is good to have some games where you don't have to have him scoring 20 points to win. You have guys like Igor, you have Zakai, who is, I mean, pretty much perfect in this game. 7 for 8 from the floor, 3 for 4 from 3, 2 for 2 free throws, 19 points, 8 assists, 3 rebounds. Just solid performance from the guy.
Yeah. And also Jamal Meshack shooting 10 free throws is hilarious.
Yeah, that is crazy. That's where
all of his points pretty much came. I think all of them did come. Well, not all of them came from the free throw line. 8 of them came from the free throw line, I think.
Yep. Yeah, 8 for 10. Oh, we were supposed to give those tickets away, weren't we? I completely forgot about that.
I did too till it's too late. Sorry.
Okay. Jordan Gainey, 15 points. Cade Phillips, 13 points, 9 rebounds. Big game for him when JP Estrella was out for injury. Came in and looked the part. I've liked Cade Phillips so far this season. I think he can be a really good player for Tennessee.
Yeah. No, I agree. I think both which Estrella's out right now, but I thought Cade Phillips and Estrella, I think they're going to help you defensively. I don't know how much offensively throughout the year they're going to help, but I think they will defensively.
And I love Tennessee when they're able to, they are really good defensively, but then they're getting out and running too. I think that is a huge thing for Tennessee to be so athletic at your guard position, and your bigs can run the floor like Okpara and Milicic. Cade Phillips can as well. 27 fast break points today.
Yeah, you love to see that.
Yeah, how many of you had – I want to know how many Tennessee has averaged the past 2 years, 2 or 3 years, because it can't be very many. I just feel like we've not made the most of our opportunities getting out and running, but I feel like you have the roster to do so this year.
I mean, I know Tennessee's competition hasn't been super stiff so far, but have we had 5 guys in double digits every single game so far?
I don't know.
It's been
Austin Peay did beat Bowler.
Well, they've got a Navy SEAL on their coaching staff, which is pretty scary.
Sure, yeah. And they got the guy that has one arm.
Is that an advantage?
No, but I think it's pretty sick.
It is cool.
I mean, imagine if he had 2. I mean, he probably is the best player in the country.
My sister was in middle school. She got 30 dropped on her head by a girl with one arm. She was a hooper. Pretty impressive to play a game that you only play with your hands with one arm. Yeah, I think you're right. I kind of think he just should by default, just the fact that he starts on a team should kind of sure up that's the Naismith Player of the Year, yeah. Or Wooden Award, yeah.
Yeah, agreed. Do you think they ask him though, are you right or left-handed? Is that probably on his bio, you think?
I don't know, but you got to feel bad anytime you're force him to his. Yeah. That's a tough scene. It's a tough look.
He did hit a 3 over somebody today. I forget who it was, but
yeah, that won't get watched in film a bunch of times, I'm sure.
Mm-hmm.
All right, I'm a horrible person. Let's move on to something else.
Yeah. I do like this team, and it seems like Okpara is handling the basketball a lot better. He did have – how many turnovers did he have today? Only 2. He had 3 blocks. How many blocks? Tennessee had 10 blocks today.
Love to see it.
12 more assists than Austin Peay and almost 20 more rebounds. Yeah. I'm baffled by Jamal Mashak having 10 free throws.
Yeah. Crazy.
Because, like, he's a guy that you're like, yeah, go to the rim. Like, you're super athletic, and he never does. And today he did. So,
yeah. Something
to watch.
Tennessee goes to the Bahamas next to play Virginia. That is on, is that Friday night? No. Thursday night. Ugh. 9:30 tip on a Thursday. Ugh.
Hey, we will get to watch the majority of it.
Gross. Ugh. Just pisses me off.
What's Virginia looking like? Do we even know? I think they're 3-0.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure they're
Campbell. Oh, they did beat Villanova, which Villanova's kind of ass, I think.
I haven't gotten into basketball mood yet. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I haven't either. It's hard to get my attention span is just not that much right now when football's going on. Villanova 2-3. Yikes. They lost to Columbia and St. Joseph's. Oh, great. Okay. Most important.
No more night games. I don't know. This is pretty sick. State of Utah had an 8-man football championship this Saturday. They did do the coin toss. The news article was fake, but also before the game, I guess to make it look like it was the coin toss, they dropped a ball out of a helicopter and the captains of the team fought over it, which I think is pretty sick. 8-man football is already weird. Let's make it as weird as we can.
I like that. I was watching somebody's highlights on TikTok. I was like, man, he's like wide open. Why is there like not a lot of people like trying to tackle him? I realized it was like a 6-man football.
I didn't know that was a thing. I knew 8-man was.
Yeah. It was like a middle school league, and I was like, well, no wonder. It's like half the people on the field he doesn't have to worry about.
Still sounds like he's getting open. I don't know why you're dogging him.
Yeah, I guess. My most important is the Tennessee basketball. Did you see where they donated thousands for Montana guard Money Williams?
I did. Yeah, it's pretty sick.
You know, he's taking care of his younger siblings following the loss of his parents, and yeah, really cool. I mean, this basketball program is top notch. Another quick kind of it is funny. His sister, guess what her name is?
Cash.
Monet.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So Monet and Money. He also scored 30 on Tennessee. So
right. Transfer portal.
Glad we're taking care of him, but I kind of don't want to see him again.
Sure. It was a payoff. Don't ever come back unless you're in orange.
Exactly. Ooh. Transfer portal?
Are you listening to me tonight? I said it in the same inflection you did like 2 minutes ago.
Yes, I'm with you. Transfer portal, please.
Yeah.
Arizona's 62-yard field goal.
I didn't see this
Before the half against Houston.
I missed this dong punch. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, like right at midfield, just bang. He'll probably be the kicker for the Panthers in a few years and be horrible. But yeah, good for him.
Are they going to draft him early?
Probably. I don't know. That's a Tampa thing. I think they should do that again.
I agree. Well, it's more of an Oakland thing.
Yeah.
The Oakland kicker at least worked out. The Tampa kicker did not.
Yeah, that was bad. Any more most important?
Whoops. No. No, no more most important. Sorry.
I have Stanford. Stanford football, baby. Beating Louisville. Number 19, Louisville, on a 52-yard walk-off field goal.
I missed that game too. What the crap?
Yeah.
Okay.
Emmett Kennedy. They were on a 6-game losing streak and then beat
I'm
the
pretty
number
upset.
19 team in the country.
Yeah, I'm pretty upset that I
Missing out.
missing all these dong punches. If you asked me, Landon, if again, all know her, we should sit in competition after Max Gilbert missed those field goals in the Kentucky game the week before, and I was like, no, he's your dude, ride him out. Now he's on a streak.
Dude has stones being, kicking that dong punch in that environment.
Sure. Absolutely.
That might be all the ones I have.
I think this is a fail a little bit. New Mexico played St. John's today, and the crowd erupted in a Hoosier Daddy chant towards the end. And Richard Pitino is the coach for New Mexico. That is Rick Pitino's son. So, yes, like a very appropriate Hoosier Daddy chant. Normally cringeworthy, don't do it. I think it's appropriate. Also, Rick Pitino quieted the crowd. He didn't like it. But it's just a factual statement, Pitino. You can say it to hookers and they can't say it to your son? Seems weird.
Yeah. I had a sick Uber this week.
Okay.
Who he had like a disco ball, and I was like, "Hey man, you care to like turn that on?" He's like, "Yeah," and he flips his screen to me, and it's karaoke.
What'd you sing?
I think "Goodbye Earl."
Okay.
Yeah, and there was another song. Somebody else in the back was singing it. I can't remember what it was, but
It's a long Uber ride. You had time
it was it was 6 minutes. So we got in two
just
songs.
enough.
Yeah,
You should have chose 1 6-minute song.
I should
Been a
have.
better move.
How many 6-minute songs do you know?
Well, I gotta think Bohemian Rhapsody's pretty
Up
close.
there? Yeah. I didn't know if you knew
Um,
another one off the top of your head.
No, I don't. I'm sure there's plenty.
Just play it on repeat.
Sure.
Just one song twice.
And then one song only. What song is
Love it
that?
so much, let's sing it again. Encore, huh?
One song only.
Oh, that's my humps. We should have played it.
Okay.
Fails.
I don't know. This whole weekend's been sad.
Yeah.
For having an ounce of belief after we scored the touchdown the first drive. I should have known. We hadn't had to do that all season. Why did I think we needed it that bad?
My fail was betting on Alvin Kamara to score a touchdown. And they have 4 rushing touchdowns, and he didn't get a single one.
Was Taysom Hill going off?
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Which, I guess most important, I was sitting at breakfast today, and I was going to bet on George Kittle to score a touchdown, and then he was out. So I was like, well, dang, I got to put in my backup. My backup, Taysom Hill. So I appreciate
So it worked out for you. Yeah.
It did lose me money, but
They could win you money in the long run.
It could. They could.
Did you see the Purdue touchdown catch?
I don't think so.
So it goes to a fairly open Purdue player who catches it in what he thinks is the end zone, and then quickly notices he is out of the back of the end zone because Landon, the end zone's painted black. Then you have your white boundary stripe, right? Then just beyond the boundary stripe, you have the back of the end zone painted black with another white boundary stripe 3 yards behind it. I see how he got confused. I mean, it's very confusing.
Oh yeah, I did see that. Poor guy.
Pretty tough look for whoever made the decision to paint the field that way.
Is that the railroad track?
No, not this week. It was just all black. It matches the end zone. Yeah.
Gotcha. Oh, they have grass?
Yeah.
Oh, so they're poor.
You're poor if you have grass?
No, I'm just kidding.
Wait, that's
We have new grass.
I think the other way around.
They have old grass. We can just have a concert and just replace it all, or storm the field and replace it. I don't know if Purdue can do that. All right. Anything else?
No, that's it. Yeah,
Guys, go check out Rowback. Me and Caleb both have the hoodies on tonight.
very, very comfortable.
They're our favorite hoodies. You can also, if you have a favorite hoodie currently, you won't for long if you go to rowback.com, use promo code More Important Issues for 20% off your first purchase. Christmas is coming up. Go ahead and do it. I think they have 20% off right now. I think you can get a couple dollars.
Can you combine that?
I don't think you can.
Oh, well.
But
Use our code. Use our code instead.
Yeah, I think you can get a little bit more off of it. I don't know how much, but yeah, use promo code More Important Issues for 20% off your first purchase. Thank you guys for listening. I know this wasn't a fun episode because of what happened last night, but we'll be back on Thursday, turning the page to UTEP, and we'll see what happens in the college football playoff rankings Tuesday night.
Yeah, we will.
All right. Thank y'all. We're bringing the boat in, and we out.